Okay, so what is your key to the perfect homemade burger? If you're going to make the burger at home,
Don't overcook it. I mean, it's got to be medium to medium rare for me. I mean, there's so many things that go into having a good burger. When it's on the grill, the last thing you want to do, and my stepdad does this, and I don't know where other people have done it, he takes that spatula when it's on there, and he squishes all the juices out. What are you doing? And now the other key is, and I actually asked Brian from the Rib Line, I was talking to him a couple weeks ago about cooking meat. And he says the number one thing that people screw up about meat is they cut into it too soon. You should let your meat rest half the time that you had it on the grill. So if you had a burger on the grill for 10 minutes, flipping it, and all that kind of stuff, when you bring it off, let it sit for 5 minutes. That will give the juices a chance to leave from the center and go all the way back out and absorb into the rest of the patty. So when you cut into it, it doesn't turn into a lake. I'm sure you've cut into meat before.
Yeah.
I have. And you got this huge puddle there. You cut into it too fast. All the juices came out. Now it's going to be dry or drier. So I thought, well, that's a great
for a while,
tip.
huh? That's got to be hard running a restaurant because you're all about turnover, but you also want to serve the perfect burger.
We were talking about tri-tip. He says, yeah, if I got an hour tri-tip, that thing's going to sit for a half hour before I cut into it.
Foodandwine.com, they surveyed a bunch of chefs, and they found 7 ways to make your burger better at home. One of those is don't flip your burger, because you just mentioned that. It says don't flip your burger all but once. You have to flip it once to get the other side cooked.
Right.
But you're supposed to let it cook about 75% from the bottom and then flip it over to finish it off, because of that whole thing where you're talking about the juices staying in the meat. If you cook your burger, it doesn't matter if it's in a pan or on a grill, every time you flip it, you're losing juice in that centrifugal force. Flipping the burger will push the juice outside the sides of the burger.
Good to know.
According to the various chefs that were surveyed by foodandwine.com. Also, it's something that you turned me on to, cast iron skillet. They say that is the key to the best burger, is the cast iron. Now you have to
it on
get
the cast iron,
thing hot, right?
Well, yeah. The thing is, you got to get it really hot, and so you got to get it on your stove. You got to get it on high, and then you got to and it'll sear it. But the nice thing is, it gets crunchy on the outside and soft and juicy on the inside. That's really good. Matter of fact, I found mine in the garage. It's got rust in it and stuff. I got to recondition it. But those things, it doesn't matter. I mean, that thing could sit there. I could find one that's 200 years old if they made them that long ago, and I could bring it back to life.
Well, I think they did, because it was the pan that you went to.
Scrub the hell out of it.
Old cookies would settle the rest.
Soap and a brush, and like a nylon brush, they said. And then you got to re-season it with oil. That's the bitch, is because once you put that oil in there and you rub it in, you got to put it in the oven, and you got to bake it at 350 for an hour. Pull it out, do it again. You got to do that 4 times. And that's how you season a skillet.
Apparently, the best way to make a burger shape, according to these guys.
Mine always will start to ball up.
This is posted over on our Facebook page if you want the 7 tips. But the best way to get the perfect shape is to roll it into a ball, and then you take something that you
like a saucer plate
push down. Now, these guys say the best thing to use are takeout soup containers, because what it will do is it will kind of push down the edges, get that contact on the outside, seal everything in, and that keeps the juice on the inside, because that little rim that, the takeout soup containers, they have
use the bottom of it,
the ledge on the thing. So I guess a cup would work as well, but the problem with the cup is you don't have the part in the middle of the cup to push down. But you're kind of creating a seal by pushing down. So the takeout soup container is the best thing to use. Put in a ball, take a takeout soup container, push it down, and then leave it be.
You brought up earlier that they said don't flip it. Kind of let it cook almost 70%, and then you flip
75%.
So 75%. So you're only flipping it one time.
That's any meat.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't stand when people sit there and they're like,
flip the burger, flip the burger.
Yeah,
flip the burger,
consistent
flip the burger.
flipping. Like, no.
You lose juice every time you do it.
Stop touching your meat.
Well, think about it. Centrifugal force.
Nobody wants to watch another dude touch his meat. So just stop.
True.
And there's a site for that.
They also said that the best
I wouldn't
way
know, buddy.
The best.
Apparently you do.
Apparently you do. You know about the site. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Is
this a confession?
Should have stopped.
Jeff wants to know about it. So maybe you guys can do this later when we're not around.
Do a podcast on it. You take your ball. You take your meat.
What's wrong, Jeff?
You take your meat and you roll it up into a ball, and then you're supposed to take like a soup container, like a takeout soup container, because what it does is it has that rim on the outside that it rests on, but then it's elevated on the inside enough to where it will push down the edges of the burgers.
Okay.
Why couldn't I use this Solo Cup?
Because the Solo Cup doesn't have the raised edge on the inside. It has a little bit of a raised edge.
Oh, you mean on the bottom of the cup?
Yes.
Oh, use the bottom of the cup.
So it pinches it in.
Gotcha. Presses and pinches.
It pinches in the edges, which will then take the juices in the middle and hold it in.
Oh gosh, if you have to use a tool to make a hamburger, come on.
I'm saying that.
Hey, we're not
That's
just
like a
talking about
mic
any
drop
hamburger.
right
We're talking about the best damn hamburger
do you
ever,
build houses
Steve.
with your hands, or do you build them with tools?
You got to use the right tool
If
for the job,
something
but you know
comes
what?
along
Come on. If
that
you don't know
makes-
how to form your meat, you are doing something wrong.
If something comes along that makes the process better, then you go ahead and you use that.
You don't need to use a soup cup. You can form it with your hands. You put a little indentation
but
in the
they're
middle
saying
of it.
if you want to form it the perfect way, so it's really good, you can do this. And a lot of people
Guys
were
are a
writing
bunch
in
of, like,
different,
divas.
different
Burger
things. No, this is Food and Wine Magazine.
You probably
okay?
don't like to get any grease on your apron either.
Stay
do you?
with us here. This isn't what we're saying. We're saying Food and Wine Magazine said this.
But I'm going
All
to
right.
employ the strategy.
So,
now that I know
number
it's
one, you
better.
got to buy good meat. 80-20, they say, is a good mixture.
Use your trimmings.
and
Actually,
then for
Scrabble?
me, it's just a little salt and pepper, and then don't overcook the burger. Other people, they like to mix the seasoning into the meat.
don't
and-
use lean meat either.
and use eggs and use.
You know what I do with my burger, just because I like it, is I don't do this with anybody else's burger that is at the barbecue, but I'll do it with my burger, is I'll take the scrapings of meat and cheese off of the rest of the grill, and I'll put it as a topping on my burger.
Well, if you're that's actually a great idea if you're doing like a flat grill, but if you actually have like the grill, the great grill, that's not going to really work as well.
No, it does. You're able to char.
Why is everything
Just
so
char.
stuck to your grill grate? Oh my gosh, you guys don't know how to barbecue?
No, listen, jackass.
Jeff does not have barbecue. Don't
Sometimes
look at me.
cheese
Oh, you smoke
and
good
meat,
meat, buddy.
Cheese and meat and some other pieces of the meat will come off of the grill, and you've removed that, and it's still like cooking. And if yours is still on the grill, you take it. I cook mine last on purpose so I could take all that stuff, put it
I know
on,
what you're saying, yeah.
and it adds flavor.
I get it.
All right, here we go.
That's if I was writing.
I
for
want to
Food
go
and
through
Wine.
what some of these people said. You guys say if you're into it or not. What about mixing seasoning in the meat before you make your patty?
I like to mix chorizo with the beef
That's good. Yeah.
A lot of people like to do that.
Okay.
and some bacon sometimes.
Okay, so
You know-
we're just all going to say something.
I don't like.
All right, so you like to mix other meat in with your meat. Okay.
Here's the problem with the bacon is you can never get the bacon mixed with the meat to the consistency that you want.
Oh, you wouldn't mix it inside.
unless you
Pre-cook it.
Pre-cook it.
Why would, well, yeah, but why
Some
would you?
places though that you go to and they're like, oh yeah, we add bacon in our meat, and then you get it and you're like eating
not good.
Raw bacon.
pieces of bacon in the meat. and
you
you're
want
like,
your
Yeah, no,
bacon
that's
crispy on
Yeah,
your burger, right?
yeah.
I don't want a street burger.
Continue, Jeremy, with
So anyway,
Some of the
do you like
comments.
to mix some seasonings in?
I
Yes.
don't like that because I like the
But-
flavor of the meat.
Exactly.
I mean, if you like the taste of beef, then you put all that seasoning in there. You
a little
lose all
salt and
that.
pepper. maybe?
Somebody said they use onion soup mix.
I've heard that before. I think that's like a 50s hand me down.
my
It's
parents.
like meatloaf.
My parents did it
We've
too.
talked about how bad of cooks our moms are.
Well, maybe meat just
This is
didn't
what
taste good back then.
Yeah, but
maybe
this
it
is
was just bad.
But yeah, they would buy meat that was on the verge or
It's like
a
government
little-
cheese.
a little expired because it was cheaper. Then they would throw the onion soup mix in because
Yeah.
then it would freshen it up or
Elevates it.
mask
See,
the,
here's Allison.
mask the sourness of it.
Beef is gross. I don't eat.
Oh,
Then why-
gosh.
Don't write that. All right.
Go chain yourself to a gate.
There was a way I could just black beans. I like black bean
Ew,
burgers.
no, that's disgusting.
You
That's
don't
not a
need
burger.
You don't need to participate if you don't eat
Yeah.
burgers. Okay. Let's see.
If you weren't supposed to eat animals, they wouldn't be made of meat.
A lot of people are talking about good buns. I think good buns are.
Oh, I do like
key,
a good
right?
set of buns.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Which could,
important.
we could go back to your previous argument that buns aren't bread, but I thought
No,
I'd
no,
do that
I was
one
wrong. I was
Okay.
totally
you
wrong
did,
on that.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I admitted
Buns are
that.
bread, bro.
Yeah, buns are bread.
I hate it when
you
the
gotta go to a
hamburger
bakery.
shrinks, and then it's too small for the
the
bun.
bun.
Like you got to make sure that you're paying attention to your shrinkage too.
Yeah, if
you
you're
don't,
doing-
when your meat is shrinking, it's not good to stick it into a big bun.
if you have exactly, if you have
Universal law.
small burgers, don't go out and buy the expensive buns because the expensive buns are going to usually be big. Buy the cheap buns and let it be
But
what
know
it is.
know how to
do you
pound
think?
that meat out and lay it flat because that way it doesn't shrink up because nobody wants a little ball of meat in their bun.
That always happens. I mean, your meat will go into a ball no matter how flat you started.
No, that's not true. That's
indent
not
the
true.
middle.
If you indent the middle and you control it, you control the shrinkage of your meat, then it will not shrink up. And
Got you. Wow, that's good to know.
Take this very seriously because it's
Little thumb things in the middle there. Well, I know you're a Cub Scout leader.
You can talk.
You've cooked a lot of burgers.
You can talk world events and religion. He won't raise an eyebrow. But
This
talk
guy-
about grilling meat.
This guy
stuff's
stuffs
going down.
butter in his burgers. So he takes a pat of butter and then he makes the burger
Why?
around it.
I've done that with cheese before.
People love butter.
Just experiment.
well, yeah, but that's adding all this extra oil and fat into your burger. It's just going to fall apart. That's the other thing. I can't stand it when the meat falls apart. Oh, I hate that.
How do you bind it together with an egg? Or do you just buy good meat?
Not
Just
with butter.
don't mix a bunch of stuff in your meat. Just a little bit of seasoning. It's all you need.
So you got to not mix all that sausage in your meat, Matt.
No, it's chorizo.
The chorizo's okay.
That's a
See?
sausage, right?
It's okay. It's okay. I got
Mexican
Do you cook
sausage.
it? Do you cook it a
Steve
little
K.
bit?
seal of approval.
Yeah.
You cook it a little bit beforehand?
No, the chorizo.
No.
It mixes in just like the ground beef.
Okay.
Let's see.
I don't know if I like that.
Not
Because don't they cook at different rates? Doesn't meat and,
I think
and chorizo
chorizo's-
cook at a different
chorizo's
rate?
pre-cooked, isn't it?
Chorizo's, no.
No, it's not.
It's not pre-cooked. But
Have you ever seen
chorizo's,
the YouTube video of the guy that takes the tube of it and eats it and
ugh.
Oh my!
immediately
Just throws up.
don't watch
for
that.
days.
Don't watch that YouTube video.
Chorizo's really fatty though, so that's what again talking like with the butter. Like I don't want that much fat
I don't do
in
like
the meat because the meat's gonna fall apart.
I don't do like an equal. Like I just
Right, just for flavor.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Like a 10% mix.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Boy, Fat Jay's all over this, man. He says he's a fat guy, so he just trust him.
Yes, absolutely.
He has a skillet that he only uses for burgers, and he never cleans it.
Ooh,
He
it's like
swipes it
cast
out with a
iron.
paper
Yeah,
towel.
yeah.
Nice cast iron skillet, probably.
And that's always got those good
What kind of
flavors.
cheese do you
Thank
guys
you,
put
Fat
on?
Jay.
What kind of cheese do you guys like?
Cheddar, sharp.
Like sharp cheddar?
Yeah, it's got to be sharp.
See, there's this thing. I don't know if it's
White
throwback
sharp
to a
cheddar is
kid,
the best, but
but every once in a while I want just the Kraft American singles.
American cheese, yeah. Because it just the way it melts down around the meat.
See, you just lost all credibility with me,
yeah,
Steve.
McDonald's man.
I thought you knew what you were talking about. Until
No, I'm
you
the
said
my,
that.
do my
Have
mom.
you never been to In-N-Out?
Nope.
My mom just was coming down and she's like, I just had it in
I
out.
want
That
my
place is just
buffalo blue
disgusting. I don't know why
cheeseburger.
people go there, and I'm going to McDonald's next time because she's a '50s. You know, she grew up on McDonald's, so like it's got to be the pre-pressed. You know,
Yeah.
she's like, In-N-Out's gross. I'm like, not a lot of people are going to agree with that, Mom.
No, that's probably true.
But
They
there's-
use American cheese there?
Yeah.
I think sometimes cheddar cheese will get too greasy because
That's
there's
the
a lot of
problem.
oil.
Yeah,
in it.
it's how it melts, and like when you put it on the burger.
If I can get a crispy bacon cheddar burger, that's it for me.
The thing is,
Love
don't
that.
don't
You
ever.
put barbecue
you're not
sauce on
supposed
it?
to. You're
Nope.
not supposed
I'm
to
so hungry.
put it on the meat while it's cooking. That's what causes it to melt down and lose all its flavor.
you want
You're
it to be a little melty.
Yeah. So what you do is as soon as you take it off and you're letting that meat cool, like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
that's when you put the cheese on it.
I would think it would still stay the thick cheddar cheese would be.
Yeah, it still takes that consistency, but then if it melts down you only need it to melt down like 30% or so, then it still holds all of its flavor.
Great suggestion I got from Brian at the Rib Line that owns the Rib Line, and he's won countless awards. Take your meat off and leave it setting for half the time that it was on the grill. Doesn't matter what the meat is. He says you need that time for the juices to go back through the meat. That way, when you bite
Relaxes
into it,
the
it
meat,
doesn't
yeah.
just all run down.
Let
your
your meat
face.
relax a little bit before
That's
you
the
bite
grace
into it.
period that I talk about that you leave the cheese on. That's the rest
Gotcha.
of the period will get it to melt down enough to where
Would you call that relaxing your meat?
You gotta let the meat relax.
RELAX.
Relax your meat.
Yeah, I got it.
That's a
I
Aaron
love
Rodgers
that.
fan over there.
Good morning. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.